So good afternoon, everyone. Hopefully everyone's doing quite well. I'm sure you've been going through a lot of presentations today. So good afternoon once again. Well, you can call me JR. That's my short name, no, my nickname, JR Di Maano. I'm the Solutions Manager for H3C, and today I'll be presenting Enabling Digital Philippines with Intelligent Connectivity. Now with H3C's ADNet. All right. So we'll start with a little bit of technology trends on how we're going right now with network infrastructures. And then we'll talk about each of our software-defined solutions for your data center, for your edge, wide area network, and of course, for your local area network, your campus infrastructure. So we can provide you with software-defined network for each of these scenarios. Now, all right. So as we know, with the advent of digital transformation, application is the key. No? Right now, everyone's talking about digital transformation, and what drives it is application. A lot of applications are popping out, making our lives easier. No? On the end user side, on our customers. No? I'm sure you have your own set of customers, be it internal within your company, or if you're in retail, your external customers. And this application makes sure that our business is competitive and our business is resilient regardless of the situation happening in the world. Like now, it's during the pandemic. Our business has to be resilient, and application is the key driver for digital transformation. So we do have the solution to make sure that your digital transformation goes smoothly with our software-defined network. Now we have our AD campus. This is our application-driven campus software-defined network. No? And then our ADDC application-driven data center. We have a cloud OS to be your orchestrator for your cloud environment as well as your own private cloud. No? We have our AD1, generally in the industry's SD1, no? Our application-driven wide area network, software-defined network solution. Then our main drivers for our software-defined network architecture is our SEER engine. No, I'll explain this more in a bit. And our SEER analyzer, which is the AI portion of our software-defined network. No, but of course, everything, all of this data, no, needs to go from north to south, east to west, and that's where our network security service chain comes in. No, to make sure that the flow of data is related to the application's behavior. You know, where the business needs to go. No, so our NSSC can help you with your data flow. And we have a lot more going now. So let me just start with the trends right now. No? What's happening? Data centers right now are going, they need to hyperscale. They need to be able, they need to be flexible enough to grow and grow easily at that. With the advent of digital transformation, there's a lot of applications coming in. So the demand for bandwidth, the demand for the growth in network is also there. So data center needs to hyperscale, and we could provide you with that. Example, dito pa lang, here pa lang, Facebook, Instagram, Amazon, and all of these applications, YouTube, a very heavy, video heavy, when it comes to bandwidth. We need to provide the right bandwidth. We need to provide the right speed to the network, and we need to scale out and scale up properly. And with this ever increasing, with this ever scaling network that we have, we will need to add more components. We will need to add more devices. The operation and maintenance of all this will become a bit more complicated. If we'll be relying on the same IT team to manage a growing network, an ever-growing network, then we will have a bottleneck there. That's why intelligence is a very important part. And with our AI and using big data and cloud-native applications, we can make your operation and maintenance more intelligent. So the intelligence here now becomes a tool to simplify how we would manage our network, be it on the data center, in the campus, or in the wide area network, in our edge, when we go hyperscale. So what are the challenges that's being faced right now? There's a surge in demand of bandwidth, especially right now that everyone's working from home. What is the biggest demand? What is the biggest application that demands bandwidth? With our work from home setup. It's this Zoom or any conferencing application. No, we have videos, we have voice, and it demands large bandwidth. So there's a surge in bandwidth. At the same time, our businesses needs to be assured that the core business is resilient. No, we need to have business as usual despite the pandemic, despite this work from home setup. No, there's always that potential risk when it comes to network security, and we could address that as well. So having all this remote connection, but then we have that we need to make sure that our network is secured. And lastly, the efficiency of the operation and management with all the remote um, workers doing their jobs with all of this demand. No, we need to make sure that our IT team could keep up and they're efficient enough to still do their tasks. No, and we can help you with that with our software-defined networking. No? So business continuity and business resilience is needed with all of these trends up coming in: remote working, automation, office requirements, all the audio and visual, especially right now. And we use AI. We use AI to empower our network, to make sure that our business is resilient and can continue. That our network is immune to challenge, to interruptions, and to problems. Yeah. All right. So this is where H3C's ADNet, application-driven network, comes in. Our software-defined network. No, it's an intent-based network. To make it easy, software-defined network, H3C's ADNet. No, we could provide you with the campus network, with the campus SDN called AD Campus, data center SDN called ADDC, and our edge SDN called AD1. No, but what's great about H3C's ADNet is that we have a unified platform for your access, your data center, and your WAN. No? So it's a unified platform for all three, catering to all the three scenarios. No? So the consistency of doing business, for in the network, be it in the data center, in the campus, or in the edge, it's consistent for all. So it adds value to our business right now. You won't have to deal with separate software-defined network protocols. No, so software-defined network interfaces, rather, apologies, to address your whole network. With our unified platform, you just have to look at a single pane of glass. Yeah. All right. So let's start with ADDC, Application Data Center, for our SDN solution in the data center. Let me first introduce our SDN architecture. Now, in general, so as mentioned, we have our SIR engine. Our SIR engine is the main controller of our whole SDN network. And for every SIR engine, it's paired up with our SIR analyzer. Our SIR analyzer contains the AI portion of our software-defined network. It provides the intelligence that is needed for our software-defined network. So this is the general architecture for our software-defined network. And in the application of data center, we can now serve the different workloads needed or being run in the data center, whether your workload or your applications running on a physical server, a virtual machine, or even on containers. Our ADDC could provide the network to all of these different workloads. So we even have a cloud platform called Cloud OS. It's a separate platform called Cloud OS where we can integrate cloud workload into your on-premise data center workload. So we could integrate those cloud workloads. We could even integrate third-party plugins. If it's based on OpenStack, we could easily integrate it. But if it's not based on OpenStack, these plugins, then we could use RESTful API to integrate all these other platforms and plugins into our software-defined network. Yeah. So with our ADDC, we could now have a single platform to do management, control, and even the analysis from our AI. So our platform, or our interface, no, has a unified platform for all three already. So it'll be easier to navigate and to manage, no, operation and maintenance for our system admins, our IT admins would be a lot simpler right now, no, with the convergence of all three: management, control, and analysis. And when it comes to diagnostics, no, locating issues within the network, no, everything will be simplified. We could do element diagnosis to the level of the elements within the physical switch, now with transceiver, fans, power supply. We can do diagnostics of the network, no, to see the health of our network. And we can do diagnostics of the application performance, no. So imagine if you're right now experiencing an issue with the application. With our ADDC, you can see where the application is having an issue. You can see where there's a bottleneck, where which part of the network is causing a bottleneck for a certain application. No, then we can go to a level deeper and look at the health of the whole network to pinpoint the exact equipment causing that congestion or causing that issue. And then we look into the equipment. We can go even deeper to see that maybe it's the transceivers that the transceiver that's causing that issue, no, or bottleneck, or maybe the switch is really having a problem with the performance. Maybe there's some readjustment in the network that we need, no. So with that, we could shorten the troubleshooting, no? Before it would take a lot of time for our team to identify where the issue is, no? But right now, with all these diagnostics, with upper application performance, the network health, and the element diagnosis, so we could cut down troubleshooting time so that our team could spend more time for the improvement of the network. So there are a lot of ways, no, that we could do fault diagnostics. The intelligence of the network could provide us with the detection in the network, the flow analysis of the data, the resources of the network, no, and the abnormalities being experienced by the network. No. So these four functions are all proactive to diagnostics to assess any issue being experienced by the network. It creates a life cycle process, no, to resolve issues that is being experienced or could be experienced by the network, no. So it's a predictive, it's proactive, no, but it could be also addressing real-time issues as well, no. It creates that life cycle. Then of course we need to provide security to the network, no. We can simplify your network, we can simplify the management, how you would hyperscale and then how you would manage that. But then an ever-growing network needs to be secured end to end, no. So this is where our service chain, what I mentioned earlier, comes in, no. With service chain, a feature of our ADDC, it could be flexible enough to provide the security functions needed by the network or by the applications itself, no. So we could integrate third-party security devices or even our own. Now, H3C has our own set of security devices which could help secure your whole network, no. So we can integrate third-party or existing, no, and we can help secure, no, your virtual network or your physical network, no. So our ADDC could already ensure na even if it's a virtual network, the security is there as well. Yan po. So in terms of hyperscaling, no, in terms of hyperscaling, H3C is also ready to provide the performance needed, no, by the customers. So we could go as high as 400 gig. This was mentioned in today's keynote earlier this morning, no, that we actually have a 400 gig port deployment already in Baidu, China's version of Google, no. So our devices is already ready to go as high as 400 gig for a backbone connectivity. So in terms of hyperscaling, we do have the technology providing you from as simple as a gigabit internet all the way to 400 gigabit connectivity, which is 3 times the industry performance. Ayan po. So we do have the devices ready for that, no. Then when it comes to hyperscale, we need to we can perform ROCE, RDMA over converged Ethernet. No? And we can provide the intelligence analysis needed for ROCE. So this would help us also achieve lossless network. No? So our ADBC already has that functionality to ensure that our that a lossless network would be provided. This will help greatly improve our operation and management. Yeah. So that's our SDN solution for data center. It could help automate our underlaying and overlaying network for the physical and the SDN above, provisioning. No? It can simplify the provisioning. We could do orchestration and traffic control with our SIR engine, our main controller. Our data center management could be controlled, managed, and have all the insights in a single pane of glass. We could have statistics, real-time or historical statistics for analysis. Our SIR analyzer, our AI portion, can provide you with the intelligence already. And we could do converged security with our service chain technology that was mentioned earlier. So these are the functionalities of our software-defined network when it comes to data center. So now let me move on to our software-defined network for the edge, our wide area network. I'll start up my video again. I shut down a few devices here at home to see if that's doing well. So Leo, do let me know if it will affect my audio. Yeah, so I'll be able to see you guys also. All right. So moving on to application-driven wide area network. This, in general, it's SD-WAN in the industry. Everybody knows SD-WAN. This is our branding, application-driven wide area network. Again, because we want it to be intent-based. We want application. We want to follow the application's behavior. As to why we do AD, we named it as AD1. All right. So in terms of architecture, it's the same. We have the SIR engine as the main controller and SIR analyzer. But right now, your SIR engine will be focusing more on the wide area network. So we have an engine for the data center and we have an engine for the wide area network. But and our AD1, it can provide you with your SD-WAN solution not only for an HQ branch setup or a hub spoke setup. We can even provide SD-WAN solutions for internet service provider or multi-service providers. So we have ISPs using H3C's AD1 already. And we've been going head on when it comes to competing with the leading brands in the market. And we're very competitive, and our product is competitive enough for that. So we do have our AD1 solution. Yeah. All right. So with our AD1 solution, we can now do wide area network and local area network convergence. You won't have to worry about the branch network. Usually SD-WAN only provides you a solution on the edge. But now with AD1, with H3C's AD1, you can have a control and you can have management up to the LAN, the branch LAN, the branch local area network already. So from your HQ edge up to your branch LAN, we have that convergence already. And we can do zero-touch provisioning direct from headquarters to push all the configurations and to ensure that we could deploy, we could configure the devices remotely with zero-touch provisioning. So we could cut down implementation time from days, usually take days to go to the different branches and deploy your local area network one at a time, into minutes, since you'll be doing it remotely from the headquarters or from one of the branches. So we could do zero-touch provisioning and push the configurations to the branch local area network. So it's typical to any SD-WAN solution. We could do load balancing. If you have multiple ISP providers, internet service providers, you have multiple list lines, then we could do load balancing between them to ensure that you're fully optimizing your investment, the monthly payments that you do to these ISPs. So with that, we could be, yes sir.
Hi, Sir JR. Sorry, yeah. But
okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sir Leo, for that.
Thank you.
All right. So we could do load balancing, no, to different ISPs, no. And not only that, not only do we fully utilize the multiple ISPs that you have, but we can do the duplication and compression as well, no, so that you could save up on the bandwidth. We could save up on the bandwidth being utilized by each of the lines, no. So we could, let's say an example is an 80 meg file would be compressed to a 20 meg file, so the throughput would be faster, no, and the utilization would be less for our network, no. So we can improve link utilization for more than up to 80%, no, and improve transmission in terms of bandwidth by 4 times at that. So not only can we do load balancing between leased lines, we could do hybrid wide area network. If you have an MPLS connection, no, a leased line, you have a broadband connection, you even have a data connection, we could do load balancing between these different connectivities as well, no? Leased line, broadband, and data, no? So right now, we can assess if we really need to go leased line, no? We could replace it with your internet broadband if the application demand doesn't demand that much bandwidth, or that doesn't demand a very low latency, no. So we could cut down on the cost when it comes to your subscription, no. So it would help lower your cost, no. It could save up to your companies. This load balancing between MPLS, between leased lines, or between different types of wide area network connectivity is based on our technology called intelligent traffic steering. That's the technology we use to do our load balancing. No? So you can create different service level agreements, no, based on the connectivities that you will be using. No? So with intelligent traffic steering, no, we could do it by the type of leased line. We can have different parameters to set how we would do intelligent traffic steering. By priority of link, if you have a leased line or a broadband, no, you could prioritize leased line, of course, because that ensures better latency as compared to broadband. No? We could do it by link quality. If you have both leased lines or both internet providers, no, AD1 could assess the quality of the links, and then it could assign traffic basing it on the quality. No? So better quality would have heavier traffic, for example. No? And then utilization. We could also do it by bandwidth utilization. No, if the leased line is being utilized more, it would start transferring traffic to the broadband connection, for example. And by time range, no, we'll use the leased line during peak hours, during office hours, and during off peak, all data will just go through the broadband internet. No? Just an example. So we can have different parameters on how we would steer our traffic. No, so with our AI, with our intelligence, that would be able to be done already. No? So right now, with our internet intelligent traffic steering, rather, no, we are now able to give assurance for the core application with our controller, making sure that the core application is always available. No, be it a video data, be it a simple file transfer. No, we need to make sure that the core application is available so that our business would be resilient. No? So with our resilient intelligent routing, we distribute traffic faster for faster response and higher reliability. No? So there comes, there not only is the application assured, but even the management when it comes to business performance as well. Yeah. So right now, no, we could do when it comes to transmission of data, we have a technology called wide area application services. No? It's a feature that helps compress and deduplicate data. As mentioned earlier, an example of the 80 MB, then duplicating it and compressing it to a 20 MB file. No? So we could do that with our WAAS, WAAS, wide area application service, no? Which could help reduce traffic load, no? On the network, no? with our deduplication and compression. So it could eliminate the rate of FTP transmission up to 80%. No? It could do compression 6:1 compression already. And we even have web cache for our for our edge devices in the AD1. Our web cache right now could help you save up bandwidth for frequently visited websites and even applications that's being frequently used by our employees. So it doesn't have to reload and reload every time. So there's a Tally report that actually Tally, a third party body that does assessment that reports that our WAAS and our web cache has actually helped improve the performance for wide area network in our clients. Yeah. So example of that is that a usual transmission of 986 kbps improved to 2.2 mbps using WAAS. This was inside the Tally report. So that's a big jump when it comes to the performance of their connectivity. Ayan po. And everything, of course, has to be protected. We've talked about automating your wide area network, managing your edge up to your branch LAN, the simple management of that, even deploying it, and then how we could optimize the usage of your wide area network connectivity, be it lease line, broadband, or even data connectivity. But all of those needs to be secured end to end, and we have an all-in-one protection. Our router is already capable of security features, but of course we have a full set of firewalls as well to provide you a more in-depth security feature if need be. So from different types of filtering, from the message filtering, URL application, even intrusion prevention, we could provide you an end-to-end security for your hub spoke or your HQ to branch connectivity. And of course, our AD1 can now provide SASE, Secure Access Service Edge. We can provide SASE with our AD1 plus our cloud security. With this, we can ensure that our connection on the edge is secured. Our access is secured already. And when it comes to the platform, or our monitoring platform, our management system rather, that we can provide again you with intelligent all-in-one platform where you can do monitoring, you can have alarms there, the health, you can have insights and insights of the health and the traffic, the network health and the traffic, and you can even customize the dashboard to your own liking. So it's an all-in-one dashboard for your AD1. It's the same dashboard that we're using for ADDC. And when it comes to the hardware level, then we can provide you, we have a very large portfolio of models for your edge devices. We have our core router for large branches or the headquarters, or SR6600. We could provide you with our branch routers from large, from high end to large branches, mid-range to entry level, and even SMB branches, which has our SMB routers have LTE connectivity already. So we have a rich model line when it comes to our routers, even CPEs, to serve different scenarios, be it their headquarters, branches, or an SMB office. And then we have a different set of rich products when it comes to firewalls. So we have different firewalls for in-depth securities. So if you do need in-depth security, there's our firewall. But if it's a common use for your edge connectivity, then we have our multi-service routers. So also, other than these physical appliances, we could provide you with our virtual CPE as well. So we do have virtual CPEs as well, so to connect your branch network. All right. So with our AD1, we can now the value for AD1. We don't do licensing by throughput. Our licensing is simple enough. Through the it's by the devices. We don't add license as you increase your throughput. So as long as your device, your router is licensed, it doesn't matter what your bandwidth is. We do not require on-site technician with zero-touch provisioning. We could just push configuration, as mentioned. Orchestration and traffic control, as shown earlier. We could do control of application SLA and traffic steering, depending on the scenario, performance monitoring, WAN optimization with our WAAS and our web cache, and with yes, compression and duplication by WAAS. It's license free. It's not an additional feature that you need to pay for. We could even do forward error correction. It's also part of our AD1. And our SD1 can provide you with the security functions. We can do convergence of your WAN and LAN in a single pane of glass. And we can, again, do historical statistics and real-time insights with our AI to have a look on our network availability and health. So, and it's easy to use in terms of configuration and in terms of interface as well. So we've shown you our solution, SDN solution, when it comes to our data center and our wide area network. Lastly, to complete our network infrastructure, we do have our SDN network for your local area network, our AD campus. Again, application-driven campus. I'd always like to reiterate on the application-driven, being, have that intent-based feature for our SDN. The architecture is again the same. We have our SIR engine and SIR analyzer. So you have an engine for your data center, an engine for your wide area network, and an engine right now for your campus. But the SIR analyzer is the same. So you have 3 engines all being monitored and managed on a single pane of glass. So we're using the same technology for all our SDN. That's why we could create a unified platform for all 3, be it campus, data center, or even wide area network. Right now with AD Campus, we could integrate third-party devices for your partner ecosystem, especially for LDAP or radio server, LDAP to radio server, IoT devices. We could integrate this so that we could manage user access into the network, which I'll be showing in a while. So that's one of the most important things when it comes to our campus network. User accessibility and then authorization of these users to make sure that our network is secured. So AD Campus can help us simplify our network implementation, our network deployment. From day zero, deploying all of our devices, we just need to fill up 3 templates to build the entire network. So our AD Campus already has templates which could help you when it comes to network deployment. So this would help cut down network setup, which usually takes weeks, where we have to configure all of the devices manually. Right now, 2 days only. We could cut it down. And after day 0, after we've already done network deployment, then we would do service provisioning, where we would define policies and security compliances. So anything beyond day 0 and day 1, let's call it day N. Anything beyond that, it's just for expansion and replacement, operation and management. It's to improve our network. So right now, network deployment has never become easier as to how AD Campus does it. So it simplifies that. It also simplifies user access to the network, as mentioned. With LDAP server all the way to the radio server, we could help simplify and manage user access. We could ensure that the user could access anytime, connect anytime, anywhere, be it wired or wireless users. Those who connect through LAN with their laptops or using their mobile phones wirelessly, they would have a seamless experience. Even if it's a public terminal that they're using, a public device or a bring your own device set up, you can do that as well. And we need to make sure they have a consistent experience in terms of how they would access the networks, in terms of the privileges that they would experience when they're inside the network. We could provide a seamless and simple experience for our users when accessing a converged wired and wireless local area network. On the administrator side, management would be simpler for when it comes to managing the users and the network itself. So our AD Campus can help you manage not just your campus network, the infrastructure, but the users as well. From looking at the users to the terminals they're using, our AD campus would simplify it for the administrator side as well. We could do a group-based policy, which I'll be showing in a later slide. So it's now becoming more simple for both the user and the administrator side. Our AD campus could also provide the intelligence and the insights of the network health. So the network infrastructure itself, what's the health, the devices of the status of the devices, the utilization of our network, each port, the switch itself. If there's an issue, alarms, it could provide insights on the health of these devices. It could even provide predictions, if a device is about to fail, or based on the performance when we need to do a planned maintenance. And we could also look at the user health, not just on the network side when it comes to intelligence, but the users themselves. We could look we could have a look-see if they're a wired or wireless user. What's the status of their signal if they're wireless user? If they fail to associate to the network, what's the cause of the failed authentication, the trend of that user? Now we could already have these insights with our AD campus. It could provide you with both network and user health status. In terms of troubleshooting also, AD campus could provide us with the intelligence. Before an issue happens, we can already do 3 types of prediction. Transceiver on the hardware level, if the module is predicted to fail based on its performance. The link, the connectivity itself, we could do prediction if it would be congested at a certain time, based on historical data, or if this link will fail at a certain time. And we could do AI dynamic baseline. So based on our AI, the intelligence of our AD campus, we could already set baseline, a dynamic baseline to do predictions already. So this will help to minimize impact already. But if the issue is ongoing, then we can have a full view monitoring of the current issue, from the connection to the performance of the network, to the roaming the roaming data, to the devices used by the user, and even the application running. We can have a full view to better analyze the data of the ongoing issue. So we could predict beforehand, and we could address, we have the data we need for an ongoing issue. And after the issue, with our intelligence, with our AI, we could have the report to do root cause analysis. So we could set a new dynamic baseline after an issue. When we do post-mortem, we could, based on what the data we work with during an issue, we could have an analysis on how to avoid or how to address a similar issue in the future. So we could do a before and during and after issue troubleshooting already. This would really minimize the impact on our network. Our AD campus would assist our team on that. And of course, we need to secure everything. With all the intelligence, with all the insights provided, it's still security is still a major portion. We need to make sure that the terminals accessing the network are authorized. They're not counterfeit terminals. So if it's a company, it's only the assigned terminals being connected. We need to make sure that the users, accessing the network are in fact our own users. They're not illegal users. We need to make sure that the connection into the network are all authorized. We won't have if anyone tries to connect to the network without permission, then we would block that. And finally, that the external threat. Of course, we can secure the terminal, we can secure the users and all the connections, but the files, the sites, any data we're accessing outside the network could always impose a threat. So we need to secure that as well. And our AD campus can provide an end-to-end security. So with all of this, from layer 1, layer 2 to 4, and even layer 4 to 7 on the external data, we can provide you with what we call a full layer protection already. Full layer protection on your network. So we have that hierarchical security that we could provide on the different layers of the network. All right. So when it comes to user access, when we want to do a personalized access control of the user, our AD Campus has that feature already. So we could set the conditions on how the user could access the network. So we could set the parameters on how they would access, and we could set their behavior when they're already inside the network. So right now, controlling how the user would access could help secure our network. And that not only do we use this access control for security, but it could also help us identify the users. Knowing the parameters that we've set, we can now identify or somehow zero down to who the user is based on those parameters. So for example, a student can only access the internet inside the class, cannot access rather, a student cannot access the internet during class or inside the classroom, but they're free to serve the internet in other situations. So if we see a device accessing the internet through an AP inside the classroom, then we can already identify that user is not a student. It could be the teacher accessing online material to teach the class. So this could help us control user access and identify who the current connected users are. So we could that's for our personalized access control. And we could also do group policies. So we could do groups right now to limit the different groups to access certain data. So for interconnection, so we could do a segment. We could segment the network per department so that they could only access that certain department, or per location. Example, if I'm a teacher and I went to the cafeteria, I would have a seamless experience. I would still be able to access the network with my credentials, but I'd be only able to access the segment of the network assigned to teachers. So we could do group policies right now to make sure that there's a limitation for the different groups when it comes to interconnection. So we could do that with our group policy matrix, right? And with our AD Campus, of course, we need to have a very reliable underlay. We need to provide the right hardware for you. So we do have, again, a very rich model line when it comes to our campus switch being one of our strengths in H3C. We have core devices right now which uses orthogonal CLOS architecture to ensure reliability of the chassis. We have aggregation switches that could go as high as 10 gigabit. Then we have our access switches, again, a rich product line. We could provide you with GE connectivity, FE if you still need it. We have PoE, non-PoE device, fiber connectivity, or copper connectivity. So we have a very rich line of campus switches. And when it comes to wireless connectivity, we can provide you with the latest Wi-Fi 6 technology already. So the throughput that we could provide is the fastest in the industry. And our Wi-Fi 6 right now is a leading brand in the China market when it comes to the wireless industry. So we could provide you with Wi-Fi access points depending on the scenario. Outdoor, indoors, a jam-packed or a high-density area, auditorium or whatnot. A personalized access point for, let's say, a dormitory, a hotel room, or even an executive office. All of these different scenarios, we have the wireless solution that we could provide for you. So we have a rich line of products already and models that we can provide for you on the underlay to support our AD Campus. So with that, that would end my presentation. We've discussed our ADDC, SDN solution for data center, AD1, SDN solution for wide area network, as well as AD Campus, which is our software-defined network for your local area network, for your for your LAN, sorry, rather. And with all three of those put together in a single pane of glass, no, with our unified platform, you have H3C's ADNet. Thank you very much. So that's